Jack and Libby, the blizzard bride who changed Wyoming forever. The blizzard screamed through Cheyenne like a banshee on December 15, 1887. At the deserted train station, Elizabeth Libby Montgomery sat on a wooden bench, her breath crystallizing in the 20s-degree air. Her thin shawl offered no protection. In her lap lay a small leather bag containing everything she owned: 3.17, a faded photograph of her late mother, and surgical tools that represented her ruined career. Just months before, she'd been Philadelphia's most promising nurse until Dr. Harrison tried to assault her. When she broke his nose with a bedpan, the hospital fired her, the medical community blacklisted her, and her dreams of healing turned to ice. Now, stranded in Wyoming with no money for a hotel, Libby wondered if she'd freeze to death before dawn. Through the snow-choked window, she saw a massive black stallion approaching. Its rider was a man whose presence commanded the storm itself: Jackson "Jack" Thornton, owner of the legendary Double T Ranch. When he pushed through the station door, snow swirling around his boots, his eyes locked on her medical bag. "Evening, miss," he said, his Texas drawl warm against the howling wind. Mighty cold night to be sitting alone. Libby's chattering teeth prevented speech. Jack studied her worn but quality clothes, the professional bearing beneath her desperation. "Name's Jack Thornton. I own the Double T, 20 miles north. You a doctor?" "Nurse," she managed. "Elizabeth Montgomery from Philadelphia." His eyes widened. Trained nurses were rarer than gold in the territory. "You'll freeze to death out here," he said firmly, shrugging off his heavy buffalo coat. Before she could protest, he swept her into his arms. Libby's medical bag clutched to her chest. She felt the heat of his body through layers of wool and leather. For the first time in months, she felt safe. At the finest hotel in Cheyenne, Jack ordered the best room, hot food, and dry clothes. As she sipped coffee by the fire, he asked gently about her past. When she described Dr. Harrison's assault and the lies that followed, Jack's jaw tightened with fury. "A man forced himself on you?" "He tried to," Libby corrected. "I broke his nose." Jack's mouth twitched. "Good for you. I hope it hurt." That night, as he left her to change, he paused at the door. "Maybe I've been praying for someone like you to come along," he admitted. "My ranch hands get hurt regular, and I've lost good men because there was no one to tend them." But there was more in his eyes, a loneliness that matched her own. The Double T Ranch sprawled across a Wyoming valley like a small kingdom. Log cabins, stone buildings, and smoke rising from chimneys created a scene of organized chaos. 60 cowboys emerged to greet their boss and stare in awe at the woman riding beside him. "Boys, meet Miss Elizabeth Montgomery, our new nurse," Jack announced. Cheers erupted. Tom Bradley, the grizzled foreman, stepped forward. "Can't tell you how glad we are to have someone with medical training." That afternoon, Libby's worth was proven. Young Danny Rodriguez had been trampled by a spooked horse. His chest was crushed, breathing labored. "We need the doctor from Cheyenne," Tom said urgently. "He'll be dead before the doctor gets here," Libby declared. In the bunkhouse, under lantern light, she performed emergency surgery that would have impressed surgeons in Boston. For 3 hours, she repaired internal damage, while cowboys watched in silent reverence. When she finally stepped back, Danny's color had returned. "He'll live," she announced. The bunkhouse erupted. Jack, who had ridden for the doctor but arrived too late, watched with undisguised admiration. That night, over hot chocolate on her cabin porch, Jack made a confession. "I knew about you before I found you at the station," he admitted. "The hotel clerk mentioned a trained nurse asking about work. I went looking for you." He paused, then met her eyes directly. "I'm attracted to you, Libby. Have been since I saw you sitting in that station. But your job here is secure, regardless of your feelings toward me." Libby's heart raced. "The attraction isn't one-sided," she whispered. Their kiss under the Wyoming stars sealed a promise neither could yet name. Spring brought wildflowers to the prairie and love to the Double T. Libby healed everything from snake bites to broken hearts, earning the cowboy's devotion. Jack maintained professional boundaries by day, but their evening talks deepened into something profound. One April evening, as sunset painted the mountains gold, Jack shared his past. "I was married before," he said quietly. "Rebecca. Fever took her 3 years ago. We'd been trying for children." Libby felt a pang of jealousy, then guilt. "She was gentle and delicate," Jack continued. "You're strong, independent, willing to face challenges head-on. I love that about you." Before she could respond, Danny's accident interrupted them, a moment that would cement Libby's place in ranch history. After she saved Danny's life, Jack could no longer contain his feelings. Under the moonlight, he kissed her passionately. "Marry me, Libby. I know it's fast. I know it's complicated. But I can't imagine my life without you." Word spread like wildfire. The cowboys who had once been skeptical now championed the match. Tom Bradley told Libby, "Never seen the boss smile so much. You're good for him. Good for all of us." Their wedding on June 1st, 1888, became the social event of the season. Libby wore ivory silk from San Francisco, wildflowers woven in her hair by Martha the cook. Jack stood nervously at the altar on the main house porch, his usual confidence replaced by pure joy when he saw her. As the circuit preacher pronounced them husband and wife, Jack's kiss drew cheers from 50 cowboys. At the celebration, Danny, still recovering but determined to attend, made a toast. "To Mrs. Thornton, the woman who saved my life and made our boss the happiest man in Wyoming. May your love story inspire generations to come." That night, Jack gave Libby a gold locket containing their photo and the inscription, "Forever and always, JT." "Now you'll always have me close to your heart," he whispered. "I already do," she replied. 5 years of happiness followed. Libby established Wyoming's first real hospital, started a nursing school, and became a medical legend. Jack served in the territorial legislature, advocated for statehood, and built the town of Thornton on his ranch's southern border. Their twin boys, Thomas and Jackson Jr., were born in 1890, followed by daughter Rebecca in 1892. But in spring 1893, a telegram shattered their peace. Dr. Harrison, arriving Cheyenne, claims investigating illegal medical practice. The man who had destroyed Libby's career back east had followed her to Wyoming. When Harrison arrived at the ranch with a territorial marshal, his sneer was unchanged. "Mrs. Thornton, or should I say, Miss Montgomery, I'm here to investigate illegal medical practice." Jack stepped protectively in front of Libby. "My wife is a trained nurse with proper certificates." "Certificates meaningless after dismissal for moral turpitude," Harrison sneered. "Did you tell your husband about your behavior in Philadelphia?" Libby's voice remained steady. "I told him about a coward who tried to force himself on me and got his nose broken." Harrison smiled coldly. "Your word against mine. I'm a respected physician. You're just a woman of questionable virtue." That was as far as he got before Jack's fist connected with his jaw, sending him sprawling. 30 cowboys materialized from nowhere, surrounding the marshal and Harrison. "Let's have a proper hearing in Cheyenne," Jack growled. The courtroom battle became legend. Patient after patient testified to Libby's skill and compassion. The Cheyenne doctor praised her surgical abilities. Even the territorial governor sent a letter commending her service. Harrison's lies unraveled when it was revealed he'd been dismissed for drinking and incompetence. When Tom Bradley described how Libby saved Danny's life with surgery no one else could perform, the judge's decision was swift. "Mrs. Thornton, Your service has been exemplary. Your nursing certificate is hereby officially recognized throughout Wyoming territory. Dr. Harrison, I suggest you leave immediately before these good people show you the hospitality you've shown their beloved nurse. That night, as they celebrated with friends, Libby realized their love story had become something bigger, a symbol of the American dream, where hard work and love could overcome any obstacle. By 1897, Jack and Libby Thornton had become Wyoming's most influential couple. The Double T expanded to 100,000 acres. Libby's hospital served patients from hundreds of miles around. Her nursing school graduated hundreds of women who carried her legacy of compassionate care throughout the West. Jack became a driving force behind Wyoming's statehood. Their children embodied their legacy. Thomas became Wyoming's first state senator. Jackson Jr. followed his mother into medicine, and Rebecca married a rancher, raising 6 children while preserving the family stories. On a quiet evening in 1923, as they watched their grandchildren play on the ranch porch, Jack asked the question that had haunted him for 35 years. Do you ever regret it? Leaving Philadelphia, coming west, taking a chance on a rough cowboy? Libby's answer was immediate. Never. That night you found me at the station was the luckiest night of my life. Everything before was just preparing me to be your wife and the mother of your children. Jack died that fall at age 86. Libby followed him 3 months later, unable to bear life without her beloved husband. They were buried side by side on the hill overlooking the Double T Ranch, their headstone bearing a single inscription chosen by their children. Forever and always. A love that made history. Today, visitors come from around the world to see where it all began. In the Cheyenne Museum, Libby's medical bag rests beside Jack's wedding ring and their marriage certificate. But the real monument to their love lives in the hundreds of couples who found inspiration in their story, who took chances on love, who built lives together in the American West, who believed that sometimes the greatest treasures are found in the most unexpected places. Their legend endures as proof that in the land of endless possibilities, love is the greatest adventure of all. As the plaque in the museum reads, Jack and Elizabeth Thornton, proof that love can conquer all, and that the greatest adventures begin with a single act of kindness.